I am so blessed. And I know that each one of you are so blessed as well. How often do you think about that? How often do you feel that you are blessed? What does it do to you when you feel blessed? Do you know the results? Have you got that firsthand feeling of when I feel blessed, when I feel grateful, when I feel thankful? What does it do? To me, it makes me happy. It makes me happy that I am, whatever the focus is I'm looking at, it's happening. And there are so many abundant places that we can look and accept all of these great things and ways that we are blessed. One of the major teachings of our New Thought teaching is the fact that what you focus on increases. And so when we focus on seeing the good all around us, seeing the love, seeing the joy, what makes us feel good, that increases. How many of you are doing the 21-day free Deepak Chopra meditation with me? Okay. Well, I think it's on the 18th day or now, so if you want to get into it, you better jump in quick. Deepak Chopra has provided many of these meditations. Many of them are with Oprah. This one is not, but they're free for the first 21 days, and then you can purchase them. If you miss it, you can purchase it for a mere $40. But I've been enjoying this one, and I wanted to share with you some of the information that he gave I'm a few days behind, so I don't remember what day this one was from, but he's talking about developing full empowerment, and he gave these 4 A's to be aware of for being fully empowered. And the first one, is awareness. The first A is awareness. If we want to change something in our life, we aren't going to be able to change it unless we are aware of it. How many times are we going through life, as a zombie, and just habitually doing something that we're not even aware of. We're not even thinking about it consciously. And so to make conscious choices, we need to know what is around us, what the results are of our actions. But what he focused on is to be aware, to make conscious choices is not that you're going to be analyzing it, which is the best one? I'm going to take this tact, or am I going to take that tact? He said the best way to make conscious choices is to simply go within. Listen to your heart. Take the time to allow that God self within you to speak to you, to guide you, to direct you. That is the best way that you can move forward in life, knowing the conscious choice that you are to make for yourself. The second A is attention. Attention. What we focus our attention on is where the power goes. And so focused attention is where the power goes. And again and again and again, it all through this teaching that he's giving is that we live in the moment, that we live in the now. We all know that, and yet how many times do we find ourselves being somewhere else? Especially for me, like when I sit down, he gives these, it's maybe 5 minutes or so of little instruction, and then you go into your meditation in these processes that he gives. And so for me, you start I'm meditating now. What do you do when you meditate? You're silent, you're quiet, you're still, you're receptive, correct? And what does my mind do? Oh my gosh, it's just thinking of this that I should have done, or that I'm going to do, or wasn't that wonderful? Everything that was back or forward, other than the current moment when my intention is to just be still. And when we are just still, that's when that still small voice is able to speak to us, that we're able to hear that still small voice amid all the clutter. So he says that we are to live in the moment and avoid multitasking. I went, oh boy. That's a tough one for me, because I pride myself on multitasking. How many people in this room pride yourself on multitasking? Yes, mostly female, so I saw one hand.
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time, yeah.
The most important thing.
What, the most important thing, one thing at a time? So live in the moment and do one thing at a time. I'm saying that I'm standing up here because I'm preaching to me. I'm saying what I need to hear. So I'm glad the rest of you are here to perhaps, be my friend and listen to what I need to know, okay? The third A is alignment. And what he's talking about there is being in alignment with your infinite organizing power. He talks about how life, if you look at nature, life unfolds just naturally. There is this natural process of nature that just does what it does. And that when we are in alignment with what we are doing in that course, things just move naturally. And it doesn't take any effort. How many of you recognize that when you're doing something and you want to get something done and you have a goal, right? And this is what I want. And how many times have you had the experience where, gosh, at every turn, I get a no, or I get this isn't happening, that's not happening. You get roadblocks. Any of you have that experience at all? Yeah, you do. And so what we want to remember, that's a sign, that's a signal that you might be pursuing, you're pushing when life doesn't push, doesn't pull, it flows and allows. And it was reminding me yesterday when we were here and I was selling my Lacy Shoelace book that's now done and published. I was thinking about that process, and I had a lot of things to do in that process to get that book published. And one of the major things that needed to be done was to get that song recorded. And I can remember thinking, well, who do I know? How can I do this? What are my resources? And I thought, and when I was in the Alpine Chorale, every year we would have our song recorded on a CD. And a guy named Ron would always do it for us, and he had a recording studio in El Cajon. And then he retired, but then we still went back there, and he still had all this stuff in his home, and we were recorded at his home. And so I thought, well, I know that guy, he records and professionally. So I was trying to get a hold of him, and I asked the leader of the chorale, Doris, can you ask him to contact me? I didn't hear anything. I said, do you think it'd be okay if I got his phone number? She goes, okay, yeah, he's saying you can give his phone number. I called him. Nothing, no response. I never got a response from the guy at all. Well, what does that tell you? He doesn't want to do it, plain and simple. I need to choose another avenue. I need to choose another path. And that's when I remembered that Cahill and Deline, when they're here, that they've made CDs, and who do they use for their recording? And made one phone call, and oh my gosh, it was just like a green light. Oh yeah, contact this fellow here, he's up in Fallbrook, and Beaten Track. And what was amazing to me is that I didn't know, I need a accompaniment of some sort, because this was just all a cappella. I was just singing the song, and I needed something to beef it up a little bit. And when I arrived, I had sung it for him over on a phone call, and he heard the song. And then when I arrived, he had a whole accompaniment that he had written to go with the song. It's a little guitar, thing. And then in the one interlude where I'm whistling, he was able to whistle with me, and help it fill it up. And so it makes you when you stop and look back and recognize, boy, how blessed was I? How easy did that flow? You know, how fun it was. And then I thought, I'm up in where did I say I went? Julian. No. Fallbrook. One of those places in the mountains. I went to Fallbrook, and I hadn't been there in years and years and years and years. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to tootle around Fallbrook and see what it's looking like today, And it was kind of fun, just to go up there and grab a place for lunch someplace. And boy, had that town grown since, probably in the 70s, since I'd been there last. But, and I just made an outing out of it. And think about those things that happen to you in life like that. And honor them. Say, thank you, God. Because you know what? The universe is listening. When we focus on and we say thank you, the universe smiles. I honestly believe that. I also believe that we are blessed when we go down the path of least resistance. If you're getting resistance, there's a reason for it. And the fourth one that Deepak gave us in the fourth A is allowing. To allow. To detach from our ego. To allow not to be in control. Yikes. To live in the moment. And since we're talking today about our blessings, how I'm so blessed, I thought about the song Count Your Blessings. How many of you remember that? I wanted to give you a little bit of information about that. Johnson Oatman Jr., he was born on April 21st, 1856. He was a citizen of Lumbarton, New Jersey. After finishing school and ministering in the Methodist Episcopal churches for a while, Johnson continued to hope that life surely held for him some other plans. At 36, he realized that it did. Without question, he had a musical talent. He could write songs for his Christians to sing. So every year, some 200 songs flowed from his pen. He eventually had written 5,000 songs and was happy that the musical compositions that they found their way to preach the gospel. However, people everywhere seemed to adopt another way of his special songs. Count Your Blessings, written in 1897, almost immediately it began its metric journey. Count Your Blessings was set to music by E.O. Excel, the gentleman who arranged the melody that we use when singing Amazing Grace. Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving Day is a holiday that we celebrate on the fourth Thursday in November. It became an official federal holiday in 1863 when President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed it a national day of, quote, thanksgiving and praise to our beneficent Father who dwelleth in the heavens, unquote. Oatman died in Norman, Oklahoma in 1922, though his song continues to minister to millions. Do you remember it? You probably remember the chorus, but I don't know if you remember the verse. When upon life's blessings you are tempest-tossed, when you are discouraged, thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. Count your blessings, name them one by one. You don't remember this? Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. You remember that song?
I don't.
You don't remember that? And you don't remember that song? Well, I guess I'm showing my age, aren't I? So I think that it's important to stop and assess and be aware of the current moment. If nothing else, if there's nothing else that we can be grateful for, think about how efficiently our body is operating. Oh, granted, maybe there's like a pain or whatever, something might not operate perfectly at this moment. However, think about all that is. Think about all the things that are going on in your body right now that you're not even thinking about. You know, all the digestion, all of the blood that's flowing and taking the oxygen here and there. I mean, can you believe how, that just amazes me, how much this body operates without our conscious intention of it. And so, ladies, I want to share this with you. The average gestation period for an elephant is 640 days, which is almost 2 years. And for you, you think 9 months is long. And gentlemen, this is for you. It is the male penguin's job to incubate the egg by resting it on top of his feet to protect it from the ice. He stands perfectly still, not even moving to eat, for he must conserve his body temperature to keep the egg warmer than the surrounding snowy area. Aren't you happy you don't have to do that? You think changing a dirty diaper is bad. Well, we need to be grateful, literally, for what our body is doing for us. And look around at nature. Look around at all the different things that nature gives us, the blessings that nature provides to us, that we have nothing to do with at all. Oh, by the way, how many of you had that wonderful recognition of the rain that we had this last week? Beautiful, beautiful rain. My rain gauge said just under 5 inches. And when you come today to the house, when you go by, you know, the 2 fake horses that are standing there by the, there's actually a pond now. The pond is full to the brim. Yeah, it had been dry the day before. I don't know if my pond's full up yet in the back, but it probably is. Yeah. Yeah, and we're going to get more rain this coming week. So be aware of how fortunate we are. And then my mind goes to, yes, and you know what else the rain brought out? Ann will know. Earwigs. Did you get ants? I got earwigs. Oh my gosh. I had the attack of the earwigs in my house.
I did too.
It's you know, and these little things. I mean, I'm picking them up and replacing them back outside. I don't want to hurt you, but I don't want you in my house, you know. Go away. And when those kind of things happen, though, what I try to remember is what we've been taught in the Bible time and time again. Throughout the Bible, it's sprinkled. It came to pass. It didn't come to stay. It came to pass. And just like in a few days or whatever, these earwigs will be finding another home someplace else. The summer heat that we've been experiencing has waned. You know, our beautiful fall season is here, such as it is in San Diego area and San Diego County. And so just to be grateful for all of the things around us, to open our sphere of recognition of what is around us, excuse me, and be happy for it. Be grateful for it. I want to share with you a true story. At a nursing home in Miami, a group of seniors were sitting around talking about all their ailments. My arms have gotten so weak I can hardly lift this cup of coffee, one says. Yes, I know, said another. My cataracts are so bad I can't even see the cup of coffee. I couldn't even punch out the Chad at election time. My hands are so frail, volunteered a third. I can't turn my head because of the arthritis in my neck, said a fourth, to which several people weakly nodded in agreement. My blood pressure pills make me so dizzy, exclaimed another. I guess that's the price we pay for getting up in years, winced an old man as he slowly shook his head. The others nodded. Well, we need to remember to count our blessings, said one woman cheerfully, and just be grateful that we all can still drive. And speaking of that, I want to let you know that to give you a word of caution, and this was given to me by Marty, who I know very well, my auto body repairman. Yes, I had to take my car into Marty once again here recently. because I was whipping into work, and there's a overhang, like a carport, and it has posts. And, yep, I hit the post again. And this time, it was pretty bad. Well, worse than it's ever. Usually it's just a little scrape of the paint, that can be rubbed off. This was not that. So I had to go see Marty. So I'm picking up the car. He does a beautiful job. And he says to me, this was a hard job to do, but it's better to pay me than go through the insurance company. I just had a customer who's over 60 years old. And in the state of California now, if you have damage to your vehicle, I forget what the threshold was, the insurance, and you go through the insurance company, they have to report it to the state of California. He said, I had a customer in here last week, or whatever it was, that she was over 60, and I told her I can fix your car for $700. And she said, you know what, I'm just going to go through my insurance, and that way, I don't have to pay it. And Marty scored because the insurance company paid him $2,100. But then she got a notice from the state of California that in order to get her license continuing, she had to take a driver test. She had to take a driver test because she was in an accident where I don't know what the threshold was of the money. So it would have behooved her to pay Marty the $700 out of her pocket versus going through, because she failed it the first time, he said. I mean, how many of us, can pass a driver's test? We can, I'm sure, but still, it's nerve-wracking to have to do that. Last time I did it, I was 16, and so just be aware that sometimes, and if anybody wants me to give you Marty's name and number, because I love him. He is so, and he loves me. But he is a sweetest man. And I'll tell you about somebody that's gone through a lot. Oh my gosh, he's been through so much physical stuff and cancer, the whole bit, and he's going to get a knee replaced, and blah, blah, blah. But he's just a wonderful guy. So keep that in mind if you're have a boo-boo to call Marty instead. So life is going on and on. You believe that we're almost into 2020? 2020. When I was a little girl, I was remembering thinking the year 2000. The year 2000, yes, I'll be alive, but, I'll be 50 and my life will be over. Well, right, 50 is ancient, for a 4-year-old or whatever it is. And so that we're just, this life is living us. And when life is living us, it ought to be a joy. It ought to be something that we relinquish, that we release, that we let go of needing to control it, because life is living us. And when we listen to that still small voice, it's going to live us at a grander, more beautiful way than what our little small ego mind can think of. So I want to give you a couple little tidbits, again, of just everyday things that you can think of to be grateful for. How many of you use a microwave? I know some people don't, but some people do. A lot of people do. The first microwave oven was called the radar range. It was as tall as a refrigerator. It weighed 750 pounds. It took an electrician to install it. It needed to be hooked up to the plumbing because it required water, and it cost $3,000.
What year?
I don't know the year. I don't know. I don't have that in my notes. Yeah. And then here's another way you can count your blessing. Really, literally. The longest sermon on record was delivered by a minister in West Richland, Washington in 1955. It lasted 48 hours and 18 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
A congregation of 8 was still present at the sermon's end. How did they do that? How did he do it? So I just wanted to wrap up the talk this morning by reading again the poem by Ella Wheeler Wilcox about being grateful and about Thanksgiving coming up. There's not a day in all the year but holds some hidden pleasure, and looking back, joys oft appear to brim the past's wide measure. But blessings are like friends I hold who love and labor near us. We ought to raise our notes of praise while living hearts can hear us. Full many a blessing wears the guise of worry or of trouble. Far-seeing is the soul and wise who knows the mask is double. But he who has the faith and strength to thank his God for sorrow has found a joy without alloy to gladden every morrow. We ought to make the moment's notes of happy, glad thanksgiving. The hours and days, a silent phrase of music we are living. And so the theme should swell and grow as weeks and months pass o'er us, and rise sublime at this great time, a grand Thanksgiving chorus. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. May you all be blessed, abundantly so, beyond measure, this week, this day, this year, this coming decade, and beyond. Blessings. Namaste. Love you.